Go, Q. Attaboy, G-Money.
Welcome to West 10 Media's new segment that we're going to have every week called On the Jon. And you're about to meet the star of the show in a second. He's going to bring you 5 quick points every week to look back at the high school football week that was.
Welcome to On the Jon with Jonathan Sturdivant. I will have 5 interesting facts from the high school prep football season each week, and the first one is the game of the week. I decided to go with 3 different games just because they were all interesting. The first game was Pierre and Bartlett going into overtime, and it was 22-20. Bartlett prevailed. And then another game was Christian Brothers Germantown, where the game went to overtime again, where Christian Brothers prevailed 21-14. And then the last game, I know it might be a loss in the loss column, but Bolton showed a lot of heart that game and played Craigmont down to the wire and lost 44-42 in 4 overtimes. Hey guys, my next point is surprise of the week. First game was Cordova versus Central. Cordova being a 6A school, Central being a 5A school. This final score was 42-7. It's kind of surprising just because Cordova only scored 7 points and they gave up so many points. I thought it was going to be a more competitive game on both sides of football, especially when both teams did not play due to Shelby County Schools last year. And then my other game was Innsworth hosting ECS, and ECS fell 40-0. Both running backs for ECS ended up getting injured in that game, so prayers to a speedy recovery for that game, or those players as well. That's kind of a surprise as well. Okay guys, my next point is my biggest takeaway of the week. Collierville, Briarcrest, Houston, and then Covington all look good on offense. No lack of offense there, especially against their first week opponents. Covington over 400 yards rushing. Briarcrest up 42-0 after the first quarter, I believe. And then Collierville scoring 61 against the Raleigh Egypt squad. That's my biggest takeaway of the week. Alright guys, my next point is the player of the week. I'm going to go with the Bartlett defense. They held Division I commitment Tevin Carter to 10 of 31 passing for 121 yards and 3 interceptions. 2 of them alone by a kid that people need to look out for. It's called Marco Tyson. He's a junior. He had 1 interception for a pick 6 and 2 interceptions again. And then Devin Rutherford also had an interception for the Panthers defense, which kind of surprised people going into that game because they were so heavily last year due to graduation on that defense side of the football. Hey guys, this is my last point. What to expect this week for high school football in the area that we cover on West 10 Media. The M&M Bowl, it's always a fun game to go to. Mumford, Millington, throw out the record books. It's a hard-hitting game no matter what happens. And is Millington going to bounce back after that loss to Kirby? Is Mumford going to bounce back against that tough loss against Covington? Who knows? We'll find out Friday night. And then Briarcrest hosts Houston. A good matchup there on both sides of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, you name it. And then it'll be interesting how St. George's compares coming into week 2 without playing last week against the team in Mississippi.
2, 1.
All right, Thomas Ellis back here again, and I want to thank Bartlett Jon for coming through. Make sure you check him out on Twitter, follow him, and man, he's in the know. He's staying updated. He's affiliated with Bartlett, that's why we call him Bartlett Jon. But he got contacts all throughout, including myself. And he stole a little bit of my thunder talking about the M&M Bowl. That's where I'll be this week, good Lord's willing. Out there in Millington, like he said, throw out the records. Both teams are 0-1, but who's going to come in and get that first win? Mumford has a high-power running attack, but they're trying to spread out a little bit more. Jordan Bell, sophomore quarterback, going to try to get his footing. And another sophomore quarterback, McCord Pugh out there in Millington, He's looking good, progressing, look good in late moments there against Kirby. Who's going to pull out that win? Also, what I'm looking forward to, my game of the week, Germantown MUS. MUS is now the number 1 team in our Power 10 rankings. Germantown dropped to number 10 after a tough loss to Christian Brothers. They have a tough start. You go from Christian Brothers to MUS, that's really going to test how good Coach Robinson's team is going to be throughout this season. And as we talk about the Power 10, I have our week 2 rankings. Coming in at number 10 is Germantown after that tough loss. Our preseason number 1 ECS did take a tough 40-0 loss in Innsworth. Had 2 key injuries that set the tempo bad for them throughout that night. They dropped to number 9. Brighton jumps to number 8 after a convincing win over St. Benedict. Bartlett, with that good win over Peer Academy, is at number 7. Briarcrest, dominant performance, they're number 6 over BTW. Then number 5 is Collierville, 61-0 over my alma mater, Raleigh Egypt. That still hurts us Pharaohs. Number 4 is Houston Mustangs. Good win over Ridgeway, a quality program. Look for them to move up. Number 3, they move up a spot. Christian Brothers High School, good overtime win against a quality Germantown team. Number 2, Covington. I saw them in person last week. The 3-headed monster at running back, they're for real. They're legit. That 400 yards is a real deal. And at number 1, those Owls from MUS. So we're going to see how good they look against Germantown. A little step up in competition. So that's our week, looking into week 2 and our week 1 wrap up. So look forward to On the John every week on West 10 Media YouTube.